Hello, welcome to Shell Point Today for Tuesday, September 15th. I'm Rich Nation.
And I'm Mary Kay Grimaldi. On today's show, Heather Battey will find out what we need to know about dementia. And Teri Kollath will visit with Dr. Reece of Junonia to talk about vintage contemporary trends in literature.
But first, don't forget about the opportunity to have a great time while creating your own personal masterpiece. I'm talking about the painting class on Thursday in the Sable Room of the Woodlands. An artist from Vino Picasso Paint Studio will guide you step by step through a unique painting called Egret, pictured here. When completed, you can take your artwork home to hang on your wall or give it as a gift to someone else. The class is from 1 to 3 p.m. and the cost is $29.
Also Thursday, you can enjoy a dinner outing to Caribbean flair. Jamaican jerk chicken and pork, fresh local seafood, island-style ribs, fresh baked pastries, and other desserts round out this delicious evening on Estero Island. The cost of the trip is $7 with dinner on your own at moderate prices. Court pickups begin at 4:30 p.m. on the island.
The 2015-16 concert series is coming soon, with the first concert taking place in early November. You can read all the details of these concerts and the complete schedule right here in the Music in Motion brochure you received in the mail. You can also pick up one at either service desk. Something new this year, you can purchase your tickets on the Shell Point website. Simply go to shellpoint.net/concerts. Click here to check which performance you want to attend and order tickets online.
Dementia is a broad category of brain diseases that cause a long-term and often gradual decrease in the ability to think and remember, such that a person's daily functioning is affected. Other common symptoms include emotional problems, problems with language, and a decrease in motivation. These diseases also have a significant effect on a person's caregivers. There are many conditions that can cause symptoms of dementia, including some that are reversible, such as thyroid problems and vitamin deficiencies. Dr. Sabodash will discuss what we need to know in tomorrow's Health Connection class on dementia. Heather Battey visits with him now for a preview.
Hi, I'm Heather Battey with Resort Services, and today I have a special guest, Dr. Sabodash. He's here to talk to me a little bit about the upcoming Health Connection program, Dementia, What Should We Know? Thank you, Dr. Sabodash, for being here today.
Thank you for inviting.
So this is a very interesting topic for myself and for a lot of the residents. Can you tell me a little bit more about what the program is going to be discussing?
Well, I want to invite people who are interested to listen about dementia and learn what is new we can offer to our patients and the families to manage this condition. During this section, I want to discuss natural history of the disease, causes, consequences, and we'll probably pay a little bit more attention to how to prevent disease, what should be done long before people find out that something wrong with the memory or with cognitive performance. Quite often I hear the question about, doctor, do I have dementia? Or what is the difference between Alzheimer's disease and dementia? So I want to speak about terminology, about what dementia means in medical society, what dementia means for general population. Is any difference between this? It seems to be quite complex social problem, and in recent years bringing a lot of attention, not just in medical field and between geriatrician, psychiatrists and neurologists, it attracts more and more attention from social services and, as I said, general population too.
Yes, absolutely. So will you be also then discussing some of the treatment options and some of the new things that are coming out?
Main idea of this section to spread information among the people what could be done in different stages of disease, what we can offer medically and especially non-medically. Dementia is the social disease, and I think it needs to be treated in the matter of not just medical approach, but also a lot of help come from the communities, from
right.
families. So, and that's what we're trying to bring attention to, that this is social disaster that we need to work out together, doctors and communities.
Right. And not only once dementia is noticed, but even before, working physically, cognitively, socially to keep yourself healthy prior to the dementia.
We're going to spend some time, right, to discuss what exactly people do to live long, and I may give some interesting advices for people, but the only one unique advice that I may give people, that actually long living is not very unique for anything. There is no one universal recipe for long living. Everybody can live long. You have to take care of yourself.
Right. Well, thank you, Dr. Sabodash. I definitely think this is an interesting program. If you're interested in going, it's Wednesday, September 16th at 11 a.m. in the Grand Cypress. Make sure you sign up and don't miss this really interesting program. Thank you, and stay happy and healthy.
And now let's talk about hot vintage contemporary literary trends. How can a book be categorized as both vintage and contemporary? For that answer, we need to enlist the help of Shell Point resident Harriet Reece. She'll explain about Thursday's class as well as her teaching approach. Let's hear from her and Teri Kollath now about hot literary trends.
Hi, I'm Teri Kollath, and I'm here today welcoming Dr. Harriet Furton Reece of Genonia, and she's speaking on yet another class she's created for us in the Academy of Lifelong Learning. This one is Vintage Contemporary, Hot Literary Trends. Thank you for joining me, Harriet. It's always a pleasure to have you.
And I'm delighted to be here.
I know you have worked so hard on this, but right off the bat, as you always work so hard on these things, right off the bat, one question probably would be, how can you be vintage and contemporary at the same time?
Yes, Teri. In fact, some lady came up to me and she said, how could that be? I'm coming to your class. I said, keep on coming.
You'll find out at the class, right?
Exactly.
And we're not giving everything away here, but it is fascinating to me. You know, you're definitely an academic person, and you enjoy the hunt. You enjoy pulling all this together, which is just so great for us. But tell us a little bit more about how you're focusing, you know, what caused you to focus on that duality?
I think I was, as usual, sitting before my computer and doing a little research here and there, and sort of ran across this by accident, vintage contemporary. I think I went to Amazon, for example, and I was looking at some books, and some of them were called Vintage Contemporary, and I thought, that interests me, because I don't know how that can be.
Exactly.
Just like this lady who asked that question. So that's how I got started on it. I thought also to add the hot literary, because it's a very substantial topic, but it is kind of a novel way to approach it. I put cartoon characters on almost every page so that people could at least smile as they're listening to something that is rather important. Sure. And I have enjoyed doing that. And so that's why I have this hot literary trends. And it's been just great for me because it put me on a humorous side.
That's wonderful. Well, you're indicating maybe that under this topic of vintage contemporary, you had a lot to choose from.
Well,
is that true? Or
yes and no, because I did find some lists, for example, and it says vintage contemporary or contemporaries, because that's another word we're going to learn.
Okay.
And I didn't recognize any authors on it.
Really?
So I decided that I would, first of all, set up 3 questions that I wanted to ask. One is, how can some literature be categorized in that way? And then, are there characteristics that would have to be part of the literature in order to be in that category? And then those were very difficult to find out. When I started to look up the answers to this, there was not a plethora of information. In fact, there was a scarcity. So I did a lot of extrapolation. I had to fill in the blank spots, so to be. And I was rather concerned about that. But it was really fun to answer the third question, because are there examples of literature that are in this classification? And there are. For example, Alice Munro. And it has many of her short stories, because she is an expert in short story writing.
On the cover, could this be a short story? Hateship, friendship, courtship, loveship, marriage.
That's it.
And it's a short story.
Yes, it is.
Wonderful. She's amazing, isn't she?
She certainly is. And I then bought another book, which I thought was a great help, because it had an introduction. And this way I could read the introduction and do a better extrapolation of what this is all about. And this is full of poetry. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful poetry. It looks like it's old, but it comes out every once in a while. And it's called The Vintage Book of Contemporary World Poetry.
World poetry. Fabulous.
So I get to read up on all kinds of world poets.
Now, if we come to your class, I take it that we're going to walk away with a few authors that we might want to spend some time with.
Exactly. I'm using Munro as my luxury person, because everything seemed to be able to fill in at that point. But I'm also using books like Bordering Fires, which is written by Christina Garcia. And one of the reasons that I'm using that is because this is the first time, the very first time, that writers from both sides of the Mexican-U.S. border have been brought together under one roof. Wonderful. And I just think it's marvelous to have that happen. And these were Mexican writers, U.S. on the other side of the border, who actually had not been recognized. And so there's a clue to vintage contemporary.
No more. People are going to have to join us. Harriet, let me just say, I know you have a lot going on, and we really appreciate that you spend this time and share with us because of your scholarship and your curiosity. It's wonderful. You'll probably want to join us. There are a few spots left. It is a class that's taking place on Thursday, September 17th. Please sign up at either service desk and come and have the benefit of Dr. Harriet Furton Reece and her scholarship.
And now it's time to check out today's happenings, Academy news, menus, and Village Church connections.
Well, happy Tuesday. I'm Caitlin Van Scoy, and this is Bev Chanley, and this is the Happening segment of Shell Point TV. We're going to let you know all of Tuesday's activities that are happening here at Shell Point. We start at 7:15 with the Health Connections class, Bend, Breathe, and Balance. That'll be in the Health Club. And then pickleball will be available at the pickleball courts at 8 o'clock. Those are behind the Resident Activity Center. Another 8 o'clock activity is the Round Robin Doubles Tennis going on at the Woodlands Tennis Courts. The Stamp Ministry volunteers will be in the Stamp Room down in the Island Tunnel at 8:15. And then at 8:30, the Ladies Golf Association will be meeting at the Shell Point Golf Club. 9 o'clock, from 9 to 12, we have seafood galore at your door. You can purchase seafood, fresh seafood off the boat, and free samples will be available in front of the Village Church. At 9:15, we have the Caregiver Support Group Therapy meeting in the conference room of the Medical Center. You do need to sign up for that. At 9:15, we have the Memory Care Group in the conference room of Behavioral Health Office, and you do need to sign up for that as well. Another 9:15 activity is open painting down in the art studio. And shuffleboard at 9:15 is at the shuffleboard courts. 9:30 match play mixed doubles tennis will be at the Woodlands tennis courts. And then the Suzy heads out to Woody's Waterfront Restaurant, leaving at 10 o'clock, and that'll be sign-up required. Through the Bible study group will be meeting in the Osprey room at 10:15. And then we move to 10:30 for the caregiver support group therapy. That'll be meeting in the conference room of the medical center. You do need to sign up. The memory care group will be meeting at 10:30 in the conference room of behavioral health, and that'll be a sign-up required as well. Our last morning activity is a LifeQuest Living Healthy at 11:45 in the Osprey room. I'm going to turn it over to Bev for the afternoon activities.
Thank you, Caitlin. We're going to start at 12:30 today for the afternoon lineup. Mixed Progressive Bridge will be in the game room down at the Woodlands. At 12:45, we have a Health Connections class, fitness room orientation. That's down in the health club. Sign up is required. Now the knitters group will be in the Osprey room at 1:15. Also at 1:15, the rollicking recorderist will be in the tarpon room down in the tunnel. The women's ministries prayer group will be in the hospitality room of the village church, also at 1:15. We're going to move on to 1:30 for a Health Connections class, Aqua Pilates. That's at the LifeQuest Aquatic Center. 1:30, the Stamp Ministry will be in the Sable Room of the Woodlands. We have a Health Connections class, Balance and Mobility Training Level 2 in the Health Club at 2:45. And that's our last activity for today. We're sure glad you joined us, and we will see you back here again tomorrow.
Hello, I'm Teri Kollath with your Academy information for Tuesday. At 10 o'clock, we have the Story of China, Part 1 in the Grand Cypress Room of the Woodlands, and sign-up is required. A new class tomorrow is with Richard Nelson of Lakewood and his great volunteer assistants, who will once again offer their very beginning computer course called Basics Prep School. And I have some auxiliary news to share with you. We have openings on our resident relations and our beverage cart committees. Please look at the last page of the weekly reminder for details on how you can get more information or sign up for orientation. And we have many other openings I'd be happy to discuss with you.
Menus for Tuesday. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter is lamb stew served in a sourdough bread bowl with fried cauliflower. The soup of the day is navy bean. In the Island Cafe for lunch, the special is a turkey, Swiss, and bacon panini with a side salad for $7.75. The dinner special is char-grilled Caribbean pork with beans and rice and fresh fruit for $8.75. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Hi, I'm Dotty Morrison, and I'm here with Marilyn Schmidt. Hi, Marilyn.
Hi, Dotty.
What are you reading there?
Oh, I found an interesting article in here called Bahama Breezes that was rather intriguing to me.
Oh, that's the one I wrote.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so I've never been to the Bahamas. Have you been there?
Well, actually, we lived there for many years.
You did?
Yes.
When was this?
From the late 60s until the early 80s. We were there a long time. Mm-hmm.
Was Howard working there?
He was. He was. He worked for U.S. Steel, and in Nassau they had offshore shipping offices.
Okay.
And he was there.
Well, we're going to be having a global outreach meeting Wednesday, and the speakers are going to talk about a church in Nassau called Chapel on the Hill. Mm-hmm. You know anything about that?
As a matter of fact, I do. In the early days of that church, they didn't have a musician, and so I would go over and play the organ for them.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I didn't attend the church, but yes, I was their organist for a while.
Oh, how interesting. Have you been back?
Not to the church, but been back to the Bahamas many times.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to have a very interesting global outreach meeting because that church was started by the husband of Donna Farrell. Donna lives in Macoma. Her husband, when he was pastor here, they helped start the church. So there was this Shell Point connection way back. And then other people in the area had connections, like from an Ohio church. They later helped with a school to start the academy. And we're going to have a man who's actually Donna Farrell's son. He just came back from a trip with men from the Alliance Men organization. That's a local organization. They were doing construction on the school.
Okay.
He's going to come and tell about what's happening now. And then there's some sort of Chinese connection. Do you know Sarah King?
I do.
New
I know
resident?
yeah.
Okay, so there's a connection with the Chinese church that she and her husband worked with. So all of these things have to do with the breezes that God's Spirit has blown across to the Bahamas all these years.
Amazing.
And they're going to pull it all together and give us kind of a history.
Sounds wonderful.
Well, I hope that you and Howard come.
Thank you. We
Should
will.
be fun.
We'll be there.
Good. So why don't you let a breeze blow you to the hospitality room this Wednesday at 10:15 to hear about what's happening and has been happening in the Bahamas. There'll be refreshments at 10 o'clock. Invite your friends, and we hope to see you there.
Thanks for joining us today. On tomorrow's show, Jeff Corey of the Legacy Foundation will tell us about a new addition to the Health Connections about medical breakthroughs and discoveries. And we'll meet resident Judy Owen to learn about her days of antique appraising. Until then, I'm Rich Nation.
And I'm Mary Kay Grimaldi. This has been Shell Point Today for Tuesday, September 15th. On behalf of all of us here, we hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you again tomorrow.